Sometimes I hear comics talk about the craft or whatever, and I'm like, ugh. But I mean, I don't know. We're all trying to have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally,
we're all
children of God.
There you go. that's what it's all about,
and
ladies and gentlemen. That's what comedy's all about.
That's what it's all about, realizing we're children of God and just coming together.
And that's actually a good example of what my comedy's all about, which is doing a callback one too many times. Yeah.
Who put in a good word for me, but I appreciate that.
It's just you.
Oh, well, cool. Cool. Then you really took a gamble.
I didn't know this was officially sanctioned by the Comedy Catch.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I had Justin Smith come on,
yeah,
and that's when I approached Danielle with it. I was like, hey, do you think me and Ledbetter could do an episode in the Catch?
Yeah.
Just to see how it goes, see if you like it, see if we like it.
Right.
And then if Justin Smith still wants to come on, and it worked real well with him, and I was like, dude, if you'll let me do this, I'm going to try and get every headliner I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I kind of got the idea from Steve Byrne doing a comedy pinata.
Yeah, do it at Zany's. Yeah, he hasn't in a while.
Yeah, I know, but
I did a couple episodes.
Yeah, I watched
it was fun.
I watched the episode you did right after the Oscars. After Chris Rock got slapped, that was a fun one. Where y'all watched
just comedians get attacked.
Y'all watched that famous one with I always forget his name, the guitar guy.
Man, what is that guy's name? I've seen that clip so many times.
It's so good.
I feel bad.
He came at me, folks. What do you say? No.
All right, show's over.
Show's over. y'all just picking apart him, putting his pick back in the broken neck and everything. I'm like, Jesus, man. It's so good. But I guess we'll get the intro out of the way.
Okay.
Today we got Aaron Weber with us.
All right.
Co-host, right? Co-host of Nateland Podcast.
Yeah, co-host makes it sound like I'm on equal footing with Nate, and I'm not.
Well, you're on Nate Bargatze's
There you go.
Nateland
I'm
podcast.
A regular on the podcast.
There
I
you
think
go.
that's fair to say.
There you go. And I got a Comedy Central special, Don't Tell special, right?
Yeah. Well, Comedy Central set on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well,
You're being very nice. I'm just
sorry.
making sure I don't overstate any of this at all.
Oh, man. But, yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Dude. I've been a big fan of yours for a minute.
Well, thanks, man.
When I first heard about you was you got announced on Fully Loaded with Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, last summer.
I was like, Aaron Weber, huh? I haven't heard that. Let me check him out. And
that was the only name on that lineup that people were like, who is this guy? I actually saw a clip of on Your Mom's House. They were looking through the lineup, and Tom Segura is going, oh, man, this is stacked. Who's that guy at the end? That was the only guy you hadn't heard of.
Oh, that's.
But no, that was so cool to get to do. Obviously, did you go to any of those shows?
I didn't get a chance to, but
They were pretty crazy. I only did a week with them, and then we did a makeup date in Mississippi later in the fall. But
what
it was
all
very cool.
Venues you did? Bristol, right?
I wasn't on the Bristol show, unfortunately. I did Dayton, Ohio, South Bend, Indiana, Louisville, Rochester, New York. Damn. And then Brandon, Mississippi.
Damn.
And they were all, Louisville was it's called the Yum Center, the KFC Yum Center, which is the arena there in Louisville.
Of course.
The rest of them were minor league ballparks.
That's so cool.
It was awesome, so cool, dude. And you just kind of spend the whole day at the ballpark. That's what was awesome.
It's like an actual festival.
Yes. Yeah. You wake up. We're parked at the stadium.
Yeah.
One day we did yoga in the outfield.
And you're on the bus too, right?
I was on the bus with him.
Yeah.
It was a big operation. It was very cool to be a part of.
I bet it's crazy because I don't know. You've like produced shows and stuff before, right?
Yeah. I used to run a couple mics. Yeah. I ran a few independent shows in Nashville.
Because I stress about running an open mic.
Yeah.
And then just seeing just a little bit of what goes into like these shows, I can't imagine running something on that scale.
Oh, it's a whole different world.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
scale
for sure,
that it's at.
for sure.
Yeah, but I had the sweet spot of I didn't have to worry about it.
You show up and do your time.
Exactly. And nobody expected me to sell a bunch of tickets on the show or anything, so I was just along for the ride.
And you got to hang out with the biggest names in comedy.
Yeah, and like some of the best.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
So it was.
I know. Awesome. When we first met at Don't Tell Chattanooga, I asked you, but I want you to talk about it again, getting to meet Dave Attell and going on the plane with him and Big J.
Oh, yeah. We took a plane from, I think, Dayton, Ohio to Rochester, New York, and just the way I ended up sitting on the plane, it was kind of a surreal moment. It was me and Bert, and then across from us was Big J and Dave Attell, just for the whole flight. I just didn't say a word the whole flight. I just sat there and listened. And they had a flight attendant keep bringing Bloody Marys over, and I just kept drinking them. And then about 30 minutes in, I was like, oh, no, I'm kind of drunk right now, so I definitely don't want to say anything in front of these guys.
You got to really bite your tongue.
Well, I see guys do that sometimes where, like, it's a younger comic, and I'm sure I did this too, but when a more experienced comic is you start to try to, like, go story for story with him or something. And I was very aware of that moment. Like, I'm a nobody on this plane, so I'm not going to try to butt in or give my thoughts about anything.
When we first met, I thought you didn't like me because
wait, why?
Because I was super green, and so like,
why would I care if you're green?
Well, just in the green room, I was asking you question.
Oh, I don't
question.
mind.
Just
mind questions.
And then every time you walked out of the room, I would ask David Chastain or Rob Wentz or I can't remember, Ryan McComb.
Yeah.
I was like, am I being annoying?
No.
Like, does he hate me?
No.
They're like, no, dude, just chill with the questions.
Yeah. I would never think like that, dude. How long have you been doing stand up?
It'll be a year and a half in a month.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
And a year and a half.
Yeah. Super.
Pretty early on. That's great.
Yeah, my first mic was the East Room in Nashville, and you popped in.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I whispered to my other brother that brought me, I was like, he just did Fully Loaded.
Yeah. Then I bombed at an open mic.
I don't think you did, actually. Yeah. I think that one was like a good turnout.
Okay.
I like the East Room.
Yeah, East Room is...
I've had some bad sets, but...
Mm-hmm. Oh, we've all had terrible sets there. I believe it's the longest running open mic in Nashville.
Oh, really?
It's been going on for a long time. It's kind of where I would first start to really take it seriously. So I've been going there for 8 years now.
And did you start in Nashville or did you start in Alabama?
I did nothing in Alabama.
Okay.
I did a little bit in college. We had like a student group where we do shows for students. And if you'd asked me at the time, I would have said, this is real stand-up. But it was, it was just like, I had bits about like being a finance major. So, you know what I mean? Just like nonsense. But
what school did you go to?
Notre Dame.
Oh,
in South Bend, Indiana.
Dang.
So we had it's called the Notre Dame Student Stand-Ups. And I did maybe 5 shows in college. And then when I moved back to Nashville after school, that's when I started doing open mics.
What were you doing, like, work-wise?
Well, I did, oh, man. It was a mess. I graduated late because I failed a couple classes. And so I moved back. I lived in my parents' basement. I waited tables. And then I got some internship at a PR company. And then I got a job at I don't even know what you call it, almost like we call it where you just call phone center.
Call center?
Call center, almost like that. I was awful at it. I got fired.
Doing like cold calls and stuff?
Yes.
Oh, man.
And I got fired. And when I got fired, I was like, oh, yeah, y'all are doing the right thing. I was awful at it. I don't think I made a single sale. I mean, I was just truly awful. And then I got a job at a digital marketing company.
Oh, okay.
And I did that until I went full-time stand-up.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And they let you, like, you had good hours to where you were able to...
They were very flexible, too.
Nice.
Yeah, I could do a lot of it on the road, so I would just leave. I remember one time I got in trouble. I was actually doing a show in Chattanooga. I was headlining JJ's headline. I was doing, like, a longer spot at the open mic here in Chattanooga. And I just left work at like 2 p.m. and didn't tell anybody. And I remember getting a text from my boss being like, dude, you got to tell me when you're going. Like, I shouldn't have to check your website to see like where you are at any given moment. But they were, all things considered, they were very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm working at a weed company, so
Okay.
they don't care. They're like, yeah, you got a show? Cool, go do it.
What's the HR department like at a weed store?
Surprisingly, like, very corporate.
I think maybe it has to be.
Very corporate.
Yeah.
It's like, they're...
Is this a dispensary that sells it, or is they grow it, or what?
I mean, they do it all. Like,
Okay.
so I work in production. So, like, I bag gummies, I roll joints. I weigh out weed all day.
Yeah, you're a drug dealer.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, that
I'm a
rules.
tax-paying drug dealer.
In Tennessee, where it's not legal.
Well, so it's the THCA,
Right.
Delta 8, and
Which,
all
for
that
all intents and purposes,
is legal.
is weed.
Yeah, it is
Okay.
it is just weed. But yeah,
The distinctions are very silly.
it's so dumb.
I remember in Bristol, you were just talking about, in Bristol's half in Tennessee, half in Virginia.
Yeah. And
there-
Virginia, it's illegal.
And there's that main, or Virginia, it's legal, right?
Oh, it is?
Tennessee, it's illegal.
Oh, okay.
So I remember that main strip in Bristol. Maybe I have this wrong, but everyone told me it's legal on one side of the street and it's not
That's
legal on the
wild,
other side.
dude.
You're like,
so
well, how
wild.
silly is this?
Yeah.
dude?
Just literally walk across the street, smoke a joint, come back.
Yeah, if you do it on the wrong side, you're going to prison.
Get confused. You walked across too many times.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man. So what else have you been doing besides Fully Loaded? Like, you got any crazy? I know you're on a big tour right now, right? Or starting one.
I guess tour. I hesitate to call it a
What's
tour.
the difference? Like,
I don't know.
What's-
I don't know. I call it the 2024 tour because I feel lame giving it a name.
yeah.
You know, I'm
Yeah.
just doing clubs that'll have me, and it's just like a string of weekends together.
Right.
But I think when people hear tour, they think like, I don't know, Almost Famous, where you're on a bus together and, like, you know, you're just on a
Yeah,
cool
I guess
time.
so. Yeah.
And people go, how long are you out for a tour? And I go, I mean, I'm out for like 3 days.
Yeah,
And
then
then I
back.
go home for 4
then I
days.
come
So it's
out.
not really like a tour in the traditional sense.
Right. You're not like on a bus and stuff.
No.
Would you do that?
Oh, I'd love to. dude.
Really? You
I've
like
been
the
on a bus a few times on other people's tours.
Yeah.
And it's the best.
Is it really? I
Oh,
just feel
dude.
like
Think about it. It's like you and your friends just
yeah.
on a tour bus together, hanging out.
I like my privacy though. Like, I like to.
You get a little privacy.
Yeah.
Those bunks, I'm telling you, it's the best sleep of your life on a tour bus. Dude. Yeah. If you want to get a low bunk on
Yeah.
a tour bus, because if you're high up, I did one tour where there was 3 levels of bunks, and if you're at the top, that tour bus will sway a little
Rocking,
bit as
yeah.
it drives, and it'll get seasick. Or car sick, whatever. But if you're on the bottom, you know, that's like near the center of gravity. Like,
Yeah.
dude, that bus engine just hums you to sleep. Some buses have, talking about privacy, where like the back of the bus is just a bedroom.
It's like a suite. Yeah.
And that's the headliner
Right.
goes back there.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping in a bed over there. I'm basically in the cargo bay on a tour bus, but it's awesome, man.
And I know everyone talks about this, but like, I gotta know, what do you do if you have to poo? Like, if you've gotta go.
Well, there's something called hot bagging.
Okay.
Do you know what hot
Yeah.
bagging is? Yeah, hot bagging,
Unfortunately.
if you don't know, is you kind of line the toilet with a trash bag, and then you use the bathroom in the trash bag, then you tie it up and you just throw it out the window. And the reason you have to do that is because these buses are not designed to process feces, right? So if you do that, it'll just destroy the bus.
Yeah.
The whole bus smells like it.
God.
It's a disaster.
Yeah.
It happened once on a bus I was on. I swear to God it wasn't me. Somebody did, and it was like, it was a big deal.
No one claimed it.
I don't know if somebody privately fessed up to it, but it's an embarrassing
You don't want to
thing.
publicly claim
It's
it.
an embarrassing thing if you're like, dude, I had
Right.
no other options.
Yeah.
What I did once was I woke up at like 3 a.m. I was like, oh no. And we're like cruising, dude. So I had to go like tap the bus driver on the shoulder and be like, can we just pull over? But you got to learn to like map out your day.
Right.
You know, we're going to leave at 1 a.m., get one out at midnight, and then you'll be good to go till the morning. You know, but sometimes you don't have control, dude.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, your body just does what it
Well, and you're like drinking, you know, you're having a fun time.
Well, that's
you're
a
eating
whole nother-
crazy good food.
That's a whole nother element of it. Is like, yeah, I was never really getting after it, but I can't imagine especially like bands where there's just all kinds of nonsense going on there. Yeah, they got to pull over every 5 minutes.
I could not imagine.
Vomit and everything. yeah, it's just a mess.
Oh, man. Last night I got to catch your late show, and you were in the middle in the middle of your hat bit, and
that's when you walked in?
No. I was already in it, but I was gonna bring up the fact that dude threw a hat at you.
Yeah,
and I wanted to know if that bit has encouraged that before, or
no. I've never had anybody throw anything at me before.
That's wild, dude.
It was
at least it was nice.
It was done in like a here, try this on type of way.
It wasn't like
yeah, that table stunk, dude. Yeah, they were annoying the whole show.
Yeah, they were rough.
It's one of those things. It's not even anybody's fault. There's like this, in my experience at least. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but there's this meme or this idea of what a heckler is on the internet.
Yeah.
And I just don't run into that.
Yeah.
Very often. Most of the time, it's like it was last night. Like that table was trying to have a good time. They thought they were like helping the show.
Yeah. And they're just being rowdy.
They were just drunk and had no concept of, they had no self-awareness. At one point, I asked them, I said, if you were to rank all the tables at this show right now, where do you think you would rank? And they were like, number 1, baby. And I was like, do you think the rest of the room would agree with you? And the rest of the room was like, no, we hate this table. Some people just live like that with just blinders on. And I'm sure that those are good people.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean.
But
I hated their guts for an hour, and then we went outside afterwards, and they stood out there. They were hanging out outside the club for a long time, not waiting for me, just like
just hanging out.
Just hanging out. Yeah, and they were kids, dude. They're like 21.
Yeah,
but so annoying, so annoying. Have you run into that? Have you had to smack some people down?
Oh, what? I just did a show in Christiansburg, Virginia.
Okay.
At a space-themed sports bar.
Oh, that sounds cool. A space-themed sports bar.
All right, so if you can imagine the pizza shop from Toy Story.
Oh, yeah.
But turned
Pizza Planet?
Yeah, but turned it for adults.
Okay.
That's literally what it is. It's actually a pretty cool
They got a claw machine there? Yeah.
No, but they should. Mm-hmm. They definitely should. Mm-hmm. They got a big inflatable alien in like the lobby.
Okay.
They're
leaning into it.
Oh, they're leaning into it. Yeah. It's a strange place, but I knew it was going to be a good comedy show because we got there 30 minutes before the show started, and I asked where's the stage, and they said, "Oh, they haven't set it up yet." Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Oh, good. Yeah. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a great show."
Yeah.
And in the middle of my set, it was like a Halloween themed, so everyone was dressed in costumes, like even the audience was.
Uh-huh.
And this dude, came straight from a mountain, threw on a jester hat, chugged a bottle of whiskey, and came into the show. And he was like, he walked in talking to himself, just mumbling.
Oh, jeez.
Stumbling up and sat front and center.
Yeah. And
was just started talking to me. And incoherent.
Was he alone?
By himself, completely by himself.
Oh yeah,
completely incoherent. Just blah, 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 blah. And I was like, have y'all ever met anyone that sounds like a banjo when they talk?
Oh yeah, dude.
But yeah,
you just gotta deal with it.
Yeah, you just gotta.
And sometimes you're up there and you look around, and you're like, I'm on my own up here. Nobody's coming to save the day.
No one's gonna tell them to be quiet.
So I just gotta deal with it right now.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a recipe for a good show. I used to run a show in a part of Nashville that they should never do a show at. Just like it's not the right part of town to ask people to be quiet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like a party part of the city. And I remember the first show I showed up and the guy at the door was like, it's a $20 cover. And I go, no, I'm running the comedy show upstairs. And he's like, we don't have a comedy show tonight. And I was like, we do. Trust me. He's like, nobody told me anything. I go, well, this show's going to be a disaster, dude. The staff doesn't even know it's happening.
God.
You know? But that's the kind of, when you do stand up, that's the kind of rooms you got to, the places that'll let you do a show.
Right.
You got to figure out how to navigate that.
Yeah. I just ran my open mic last night in an empty coffee shop.
Oh, there you go. Was it totally empty? You said sometimes no people show up, right?
I had 2 dudes that saw it on Instagram.
Okay.
And then they showed up on time and it was just me and him. It was just me and him. So I was like, hey, guys, I don't know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah.
More comics are supposed to show up, so if they show up, we'll have a show. I appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, that's good. You might as well just,
Yeah, they were like, we're cool. We're hanging out.
Uh-huh.
They were drinking beers. They were like 21, 20.
Do you ever have a show where you look around and you're like, you just want to stand up and go, y'all want to just not do this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to be like, we would all have a better night if we just go home right now. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But you're like, I got to do it. I did a show at like 1 p.m. for 2 people once. Yeah. And we did it. We were kind of excited because of how absurd it was. We were like, this will be a fun story or whatever. But you're like, there's no point of doing that show. 2 people in a room at 1 p.m. What are we doing out here?
Yeah. At 1 p.m. too. That's like, people are like, even the audience start going, what are we doing?
I know. It was there's a place called Third Coast in Nashville.
Yeah.
And it's in the center with a lot of shops and stuff. So there's foot traffic everywhere. There's like, do you remember that show American Pickers?
Yeah.
They have an American Picker store.
Oh, really?
So there's a ton of foot traffic of tourists and everybody. So they were trying this experiment to let's have a show during the day when all these people are here and try to like bark them in. And they didn't do that long. But I was on the first one, and it was not good. You need at least 3 people to have a good show. I
did a mic up there. It was, I forget. I think it was Drew Davis that ran it, and it was a clean comedy.
Is it the Juice? Something Juice?
No, it was. I think they did it like twice and quit.
Okay.
But it was at a coffee shop, and it was at like 5 p.m. Because there was another mic, so they were trying to have an early mic. And
Cafe Coco?
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
I've done Cafe Coco. I can't remember.
And that just ended, but that was a good mic.
Yeah.
They would fill it out.
I liked Cafe Coco. They ended that one?
Yeah, it ended.
No, but this one, it was me, and I mean, this is like my 4th open mic. 3 other comics and the baristas.
Yeah, the baristas.
And then, like, in the middle of my set, an old couple walked in, and halfway through the next comic set, they walked out. So it was just like, God, this is brutal.
You kept them 6 minutes, maybe? Yeah.
I don't think so. I think they walked in halfway through on mine, so maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah. Jeez.
Well, yeah, I guess halfway with the other one. So
it's better than nothing, dude. You had them for a while, man.
I didn't make them immediately walk out.
There you go.
So.
Let's wait at least one more guy, and then we'll get out of here. Just to be polite.
We don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So how's the raccoon problem? Is that situation fixed? Or?
Well, I thought they were gone. I didn't do anything. I've had raccoons they took over my deck for a while. There's a hole in it, and they got in, and I remember I was mowing the lawn, and I went in to get the lawnmower, and it just smelled like a zoo. And I was like, oh, no, dude, they've taken over. Right? And then I kept going out at night, and there'd be like 3 of them just on my deck, just staring at me like I'm bothering them. Anyway, so I got all these ideas of how I procrastinated. I just forget about it until it's a problem, right? And then they just, the shed started smelling better. And I did a little research online. Apparently what they'll do is they'll kind of set up shop somewhere, breed, and then they leave.
Oh, really?
So I thought, maybe I kind of lucked out here. I just waited and just time handled things, right? And they're gone. But I swear to you, dude, like a week ago, I was outside, and there's like 3 of them again. I was like, oh. Who knows? I needed to tag the last ones just so I knew. These might be new raccoons. I don't know what their lifespans are. I mean, they might live to be 40 or 50. I have no idea. They might die in a week.
You're running a raccoon
No
brothel,
clue, dude. I hate them so much. I've got, I don't even live in a super rural area, but I've got so much wildlife. There's just skunks are a problem, possums everywhere. I've got these deer all the time that cut through my backyard because we have a gate in the back, and I just never go down there, so that gate's always open.
Yeah.
And so deer pass through my backyard. And it started to really annoy me. So one time during the day, I went and just closed the gate. So what happened is now these deer come through, and they can't get through so there's like 8 deer just trying to figure out how to get out of my back. It's just a nightmare out there, dude. And I don't even live. I live by the airport. You hear these stories, and you think, man, this guy lives out in the country.
Right.
I'm 5 minutes from my gate. at BNA. But yeah, it's been. I mean, it's not a.
It's just annoying.
Yeah, they're a nuisance, dude. They're a real nuisance.
Just don't feed them.
That table last night was like, get you a 22, shoot him in the head, and I go, what? And he goes, a 22. And I go, yeah, I know. That's the part I was not confused about.
No, I know what a gun is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, get you a 22, shoot him in the head. Yeah, which I don't know if you're allowed to do. Maybe.
I think you're allowed. I think they're nuisances. You can wipe them out, dude.
Don't ask permission, ask forgiveness.
Exactly.
That's what I always say. Yeah, that's what Drake taught me.
Oh man.
Zach Townsend's in the building. What's up, Zach?
Zach Townsend,
how you doing, buddy.
What's up, buddy?
Zach, who's doing the shows with us this
Hell
weekend.
yeah.
Good to see you, man. All right.
All right. A little Bud Light.
A little camera shy there in the back. You drinking a Rock Star? Is that what it is? Full throttle.
Got it.
Dude, even more aggressive at this hour. I'm drinking a Red Bull, but a Red Bull, it feels a little more corporate these days,
Yeah, it's
doesn't
more
it?
classy.
I bet guys on Wall Street are drinking Red Bulls right now. I mean, they're doing cocaine and a bunch of other stuff too, but there are people in ties drinking. I mean, a full throttle.
There's not a single person on Wall Street drinking a full throttle. I can promise that.
That's what he likes about it, dude. He's a man of the people.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of dudes at demo derbies right now drinking full throttles.
This street is wild.
Oh, Station
on the
Street?
weekends. Yeah, is that what this is right here?
Yeah.
We just stood out back after the shows last night. Just chaos
dude.
out there.
You got a nightclub. You have like 4 bars that all have like DJs or some show going on.
There was a time in my life, an age, where I would begrudgingly go to places like that. that club, huge line. It's packed to the gills in there. Nobody can move. And I would always hate it, but I would go, all right, well, if that's what everybody's doing, I would go. And I would not have a good time.
See, I was the opposite. I just was like, yeah, I don't feel like it. I'm not doing that.
I wish I had the courage of my convictions like you did. But I was saying, this is a sign of my age, is last night I was like, I don't know if you could pay me to go there.
Yeah.
We were saying, Zach said he would go, for $250, he would go in there for an hour.
And just do what? Just hang out?
Just existed.
Full throttles.
Yeah, just shotgun a full throttle.
Oh,
shotgun it. A funnel, all of it,
beer bonging full throttles.
I haven't beer bonged something in a long. I think there is an age where you can't do that.
Zach, go grab the beer bong. Let's
You got one with you? Yeah, we'll take care of it.
Zach seems like a guy that would carry around a beer bong.
You did back in the day, right?
Definitely.
Oh yeah. Dude. You always had a backpack on. What could that guy possibly be carrying in his backpack? Just full throttles and a funnel.
And one spare Miller Lite. Oh man. So how much money have you wasted on baseball cards?
Oh, waste is a strong word. How much have I invested in the baseball cards? I learned a hard lesson, this year, where you never know, like every investment's a risk, right? And I think of buying baseball cards as buying stocks in players.
Okay.
So these young players that show promise, you're like, I'm going to buy a bunch of their rookie cards in the hope that one day they will be good. Those cards will increase in value.
Right.
Maybe they get in the Hall of Fame and those cards really increase in value. So I had a few players that I would invest in. And the big one the last couple of years is a guy named Wander Franco. Have you heard of Wander Franco?
No.
He was the #1 prospect in baseball. He played for the Rays. And then he got brought up in the big leagues. He immediately was very good. He's one of the best young stars in baseball. Everybody was chasing Wander Franco's cards. And I had a bunch of them. And out of nowhere, allegations come out that Wander Franco has a 15-year-old girlfriend. And everybody's like, what? And then he's cut from the team. He'll never play baseball again.
Damn.
Now, I didn't sink a lot of money into those cards, but I was chasing them, right? There are guys that spent thousands of dollars buying Wander Franco cards.
Damn.
And now those cards are worth nothing. Just nobody wants them. So it's risky. I don't know. The reason I brought that up is I have no idea what the value of my collection is. I won't know until 2050 what it is.
So you're mainly investing in newer players. Or are you hitting?
Yeah.
Are you grabbing collectors? I mean, I know you have Chipper Jones, which
I have. That's all just to have it.
Is that fan base? Like, that's more just you're a fan of them, so you have it?
Yeah, I was a Braves fan.
Yeah.
Grew up a Braves fan. So I have, like, some Braves cards that have sentimental value,
Right.
but aren't going to have a ton of, like, I can't flip them and make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
There are guys that buy cards. Like, a Babe Ruth card just sold the other night. It was his third most valuable card ever sold. It sold for, like, $7.4 million.
Damn.
Or something. I don't have anything like that.
Yeah.
I think my most valuable card is, like, a few $100. So nothing crazy.
No Mickey
But
Mantles.
if Jazz Chisholm on the Marlins becomes a Hall of Famer, I might make a couple $100 in 30 years.
Jazz, we're rooting for you. Dude.
Yeah, dude. I have a theory that the name is very important.
Jazz Chisholm.
That's a great name.
It is a good name.
Jazz
Yeah.
Chisholm Jr. Jazz Chisholm Jr.
That's nice.
What a name. There was a player on the Red Sox a few years ago. His name was Blaze Jordan. And everyone was crazy over his cards just because that's a cool name.
Yeah.
Dude. Blaze Jordan? Are you kidding me, dude? I mean, Mookie Betts. There's like the baseball names are awesome.
They are awesome, especially the old school ones.
Oh, dude, I was just somebody. I was trying to think of some. Oil Can Boyd. He's one of my. He's one of my.
Oil Can Boyd.
Oil Can Boyd played for the Red Sox. He was a good pitcher. He was a notorious crackhead. He would show up to the stadium. He'd smoke crack in the dugout, and he'd pitch
in the dugout.
Oh, dude, this is the 80s. Not during a game. I don't know. I think he'd show up and he'd go to the locker room and smoke, but he was a notorious crackhead. Cut his career short, but he was good. And there's a famous baseball moment. Even if you're not a baseball fan, you might have heard. There's that famous play of Bill Buckner on the Red Sox trying to. It's like a very routine ground ball to first base, and it goes between his legs, and it was like a historic moment. That's when everybody said the Red Sox were cursed. Oil Can Boyd was on that. He was a pitcher on that team.
Yeah.
So he was like, it was like a real, like a good team, but the guy was just smoking crack the whole time.
That's
I
so
think
wild.
he's sober now and he's
Yeah,
gotten
yeah.
better. But yeah, I have some Oil Can Boyd cards. I mean, that's what's written on the card.
Not even is his first name on it.
It's Oil Can.
It's just Oil Can.
Yeah, dude.
That's
and then you go
great.
back to like the Negro leagues. Those names are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Dude. Jew Baby Johnson, Cool Papa Bell. I mean, they're amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should play a game where it's like you get old baseball names and old disco DJ names.
Yeah.
And you got to pick who's a baseball player and who's
Or
a DJ.
wrestler names too.
Wrestler,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
you never know, man.
Oh man. I mean, even like old jazz musicians and stuff had
Oh, dude.
cool names.
Like
back
Fats Domino
Yeah,
and all that.
dude.
Chubby Checker.
What did Fatty Arbuckle do? He was an actor, wasn't he?
Was he a pool player?
Was he a pool player? Yeah, that's right. Fatty Arbuckle. I think so. I don't know. Fatty Arbuckle's just a cool name, dude. I always think of that name when we start.
Fatty, chubby, and like yeah, dude. If you were big.
Yeah.
And big back then was you weighed like 210 pounds.
Right,
You're
right.
like, this guy's enormous. You ever see those old pictures like the fattest man in the world?
Or the power lifters.
The power lifters.
They
yeah.
look like him. It's
I don't
crazy.
know about all that. But, yeah. If you look at that, there's a picture of like the fattest man in the world. He was a freak show. People would pay to see him.
He was like 230.
Dude, he looks like half the people at Walmart. He looks like, I mean, he's like a little bit bigger than me, but not much. People used to pay to see this guy. That was like less than 100 years ago. People would be like, oh my God. That guy's 240 pounds. You're like, oh, yeah. Things change, man.
Oh yeah, dude.
Things change.
Well, like I don't know if you know about old school boxing, but is it Jack Dempsey? It's either Dorsey or Dempsey was the heavyweight champion, and I swear I think he was like 5'8", 175 pounds, dude.
The heavyweight?
Yeah, he was like not. He was a welterweight, and he was a heavyweight champion.
And then you compare him to like Mike Tyson or something.
Yeah, dude,
Golly.
crazy. Well, I mean, look at Tyson Fury now.
All right. What's going on?
It's your crew.
All right. Yeah.
Tyson Fury compared to Mike Tyson. I mean, Mike Tyson's 5'11", 230. Tyson Fury's like 6'9".
Oh,
You know
wow.
what I mean?
I didn't know Tyson was that short. I thought that was the table from last night that just showed up. That's why when they just walked in, I was like, oh
hell, they're here.
They're back for round 2.
Oh, I invited them for the podcast.
At one point during the show, they were like, hey, dude, are you back tomorrow? And I was like, no. I'm leaving town tonight. For you guys, nah, I'm gone.
when you have to give up ticket sales to be like, I don't want you.
No, I do not want you.
I don't want you back.
Yeah. Do not sign up for my email list. I don't want you at any more shows. But they were good. They're all God's children.
Yeah, they're just getting a little rowdy, man. Rowdy Friday night.
We all have inherent human value.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Just sometimes it's harder to see that value.
Sometimes it's hard to see the dignity in other human beings.
Yeah, especially when they're shouting and ruining shows for other people.
Especially when they're exhibiting no proof of it. But they are human beings.
Yeah.
And that's important to remember. It's a good life lesson in comedy. Because you do see people at their worst.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'm at my worst.
True.
But you see people, I was thinking about this the other day. There's no other place in American life that I can think of. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's an obvious example. But where people are encouraged to drink.
Right.
And then are told to be quiet.
Yeah.
I don't know of another thing like that. No. So that's just a recipe sometimes for, people can be a mess.
Oh, yeah.
People are sloppy.
But, I don't know if you've done any crowds for, or any shows for a weed crowd.
I haven't really. No.
It's
what's that like?
I'd rather have them drunk. I'd rather have them drunk, dude. They're spacing out. They're not paying attention.
Are they disruptive in any way? Or
well, see, that's the thing. Is it's not disruptive at all, but you can tell they're not
It's tough to keep their focus.
Yeah, they're just not there.
Yeah.
They're not present. Mm-hmm. Whereas drunk people are present, but
they're
not
too present.
Yeah, they're not mentally there. You know what I mean?
Right.
These guys are sitting there thinking about what you said, oh, and then
they're having a little loop of introspection and just nodding. Yeah.
And if you have any jokes where it takes them to really stay with you, you're out.
Like a long story or something. Yeah, that's tough.
They're out, dude.
I've never done a weed crowd before.
I've done that in a kombucha bar. A kombucha bar is it's like doing it at a heroin den. You might as well go to an old school opium den and just have people literally nodding off while you're telling jokes.
What are they all drinking kombucha?
Yeah, dude. Drinking kombucha and smoking weed. They're falling asleep
my
and
God.
It's always set up like hookah lounges, so it's those low couches where they're comfy, so they're just falling asleep, dude.
Yeah. Oh, they're sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground. Yeah. What a mess.
Oh, it's crazy. Kombucha bars, yeah. If
comedy's fun though, dude. It's you do enough of those shows, you appreciate the good ones.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
You had a skit on your Instagram a while back that I think of every time I walk into a bar or something, where you're walking into a gazebo or a pavilion at a park. You're like, this would be good for a show. We can set up. Doing that,
that's
making everything a venue.
I've wanted to do another one of those. It was my buddy Chance Willie. I don't know if you've met Chance.
Yeah.
But he had a running bit, and then I had a running bit too, where everywhere you go, because you do think that.
Yeah.
I'm at lunch with my wife, and you're like,
could set up a corner.
You think they use that little side room over there? We could do a show here for sure. But that's everywhere. We just got more and more ridiculous everywhere we were going.
The one that got me was the empty pavilion. It's just a pavilion.
I was on a hike in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and in the middle of the woods, there's just a picnic place.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, dude, we should do a show. But in reality, the logistics of doing a show there would be impossible.
You have to make people hike to your venue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's BYOB though. You bring your own drinks. We're camping out.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I did a TikTok meetup show at a dude's yard. It's in a dude's yard, and he has front yard, and he has everybody camping out on his property.
And you do the show
for the weekend.
People in tents?
Yeah. No, they're out. They have lawn chairs.
This is stand up?
Yeah.
Okay. How'd that go?
It
was all right.
It actually didn't go bad.
Yeah.
I didn't completely just eat it, but
No, they can't go anywhere.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
kind of
But the
there.
problem is that the show was on Saturday, and I was there from Thursday until Sunday. So I'm having to hang out with these people for 2 days. I'm not a social person.
How many people was it?
50.
Oh, okay.
50.
Small enough that
Yeah.
like you knew every face in the show by the
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I'm not like good enough to do crowd work and stuff, so I'm like trying to do my material. Also, the stage is here. There's a driveway, and then
perfect.
they're sitting across the
Oh,
driveway.
perfect. Yeah.
So it's like
Why didn't they just sit in the driveway?
I don't know, dude. They're way back there.
Dude, distance from the stage is one of those things.
Yeah.
I've done a couple like corporate things, and you show up and you're like, hey, dude, let's bring the seats a little closer to the. One of the weirdest ones I did, I opened for Dusty Slay. It was a few years ago at the Washington State Fair. A big venue. It's like 10,000 seats. Huge.
Damn.
But they were experimenting with, let's do a free comedy show during the week and just see how many people show up. We're not going to get 10,000 people,
Right.
but maybe we'll get 1,000 or two
Yeah.
to come. So we're on our way there, driving from Seattle to Puyallup is the name of the city. That's where the Washington State Fair is. And the driver goes, we're excited to have you guys. You know, we just had the rodeo last night. We were like, oh, great. He's like, yeah, unfortunately, they didn't have time to clear the dirt out from the rodeo. So there's still going to be all the rodeo dirt there. So we get there, and I have a video of this somewhere of Dusty doing a sound check, but it's a huge stage, and then it's about 100 yards of dirt, and then the seats. So you're like, you're like, maybe just forget the stage. Let's just move up.
Yeah.
We just did the show with 100 yards between you and the. It's just silly. It's just silly. Compare that to a club where they're too close.
Yeah.
They're borderline.
They're 2 feet.
Their feet are on the stage. They're right up on you. Yeah.
God, 100 yards.
Yeah.
You might as well just have rodeo clowns in the middle and just doing their act while you're telling jokes.
Exactly. Comedy is. I feel lame sometimes because it's a delicate thing. There's some like things you need to have. Like people need to be sitting down.
They need to be close to the stage.
Yeah. And then you can get real picky and be like low ceilings.
Low ceilings, low stage.
Yeah.
Not too high of a stage.
Yeah.
Lighting.
And those things are important.
Yeah.
But then there's another side of the coin that's like you can overpower all that if you're funny enough.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'd like it to be a layup. You know what I mean? I'd like everything else to be in
I'd
line.
like everything else to go right so this can go right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, man. What's the, without shouting out the venue, but what's the worst and best venue you've done?
Man.
And what made them?
I like, the coolest venue I've done is the Ryman in Nashville. It's like a perfect venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's about, I think it's like 2,500 seats or something.
Okay.
But it sounds dumb, but it feels almost like a club because they're very close to you. And even the balcony comes up pretty high, so
really?
they're like right on top of you. So it's like that many people laughing, and it feels like you're like right in them.
Yeah.
And the acoustics in that place are awesome. You can walk out. The acoustics in the Ryman are so good. You can walk on the stage and talk as loud as I'm talking right now, and like people in the back can hear you.
Dang.
Fine.
That's
So
awesome.
That's really cool.
Have you been to the Walker or the Memorial here?
I've done the Walker a couple times. I've never done the Tivoli.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Dave Chappelle there years ago.
Oh, really?
At the Tivoli. Yeah.
We just saw David Tell at the Walker.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, with one of my
Amber
friends.
Autry.
Yeah, she opened for him there.
She crushed.
Did she really?
She crushed.
Oh, good for her. And did
She's
he bring her
awesome.
back up at the end?
Yeah. Brought her and Louis Katz back up.
Oh, that's cool.
And they all three riffed. It was, dude, that was one of the best comedy shows I've been to.
I believe it, dude.
And Amber, controlled that crowd.
Did she come out of the gates?
Oh, yeah, dude.
She
You
come
know
out
how she
dancing?
comes out.
She comes out dancing?
You know how
Yeah.
she comes out
Oh, yeah.
dancing.
What's up,
Christians?
Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah,
man.
good for her. That's awesome.
She was, and then we hung out with her at Jack Brown's after. But
Okay.
hopefully she'll come on the pod. I'm trying to get her on.
She would.
Yeah.
Is she doing the club?
I told her next time she's in town, hit me up and we'll get it set up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But that was a great show. I haven't been to a comedy show at the Tivoli yet. I want to see what that's.
It's a pretty
I like
awesome
Tivoli.
theater.
Because the Walker Memorial, I'm going to see Ron White at the Memorial. Dude, that's going to be fun.
That's so funny. Didn't he retire earlier this year?
He threw a retirement party.
I know.
Like, there's this
Didn't
big
he do
thing.
like this is the last show?
Yeah.
And then he started going up at the mothership.
Yeah.
And then
Well, that was his plan, is what he said. He's going to retire, and if you want to see him, you have to come to the mothership.
Wow.
And then I guess they were like, they showed him money, and he was like, hell, I could do that for a tour? All right, cool.
I imagine if that's all you've done for most of your life, it's hard.
Well,
to
and
like,
he did it, dude.
Uh-huh.
Like, he road dogged for 30 years.
Maybe I'm probably closer to 40.
Yeah.
I had to guess.
Yeah, dude. He really road
So it's
dogged.
tough to just go.
But he also quit before.
Oh,
You know that story, right?
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
That story's wild.
I know it from that Ralphie maybe.
Yeah. That story's wild.
Uh-huh.
The fact that he was done. He was making pottery in Mexico.
That's pretty crazy.
And Jeff Foxworthy was like, dude, come on.
Yeah.
Like, come tell
What are we
jokes.
doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Come on, dude.
You're making pottery in Mexico and you're happy? No, come on. Come on.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I just can't wait to get to the point where I get to do pottery in Mexico. That's my ultimate goal. That's my ultimate comedy goal.
Yeah.
Start a Mexican pottery business.
There you go.
Smoke weed and drink tequila in the Baja.
That's the dream.
Yeah, with Jesse Ventura. Oh, man. Who were, like, some of your biggest inspirations? I know people don't like this question.
No, it's a good question. Zach Townsend is a guy that really like got me. You know, I was fans of other comics. He's the first guy to make me like really think about the craft of it.
Oh, really?
You know what I'm saying? Like
It's Zach Townsend?
Yeah, I'm just kidding. We're the same age.
I really look up to
He was the guy that made me like, dude, maybe this is an art. I had a few guys. Brian Regan was big for me as a kid. Kevin James had a Comedy Central special that I still think holds up and I still think is great.
I love Kevin
Sweat the Small Stuff.
Yeah.
You ever see that
Yeah,
special?
oh, yeah, dude.
Unbelievable. Him, and then I got Louis and Bill Burr in college and everybody else.
But I mean, was there a certain comic, and this is a weird way to put it, but is there a certain comic that you saw that you really liked and you're like, oh, maybe I could, because I'm similar to him. I have a similar, sense of humor or whatever. Maybe I could do that. Or no.
No, I don't.
Like, I'm just trying to think what got you to where you were like, maybe I could do this,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if because those guys are so good
Yeah.
that it's almost like
That's cocky to be like, oh, I could do that.
yeah, but it's almost like discouraging when you see, you know what I mean? Like I play guitar a little bit and I haven't in a while, but you watch a video of like an amazing guitarist.
Yeah, I play banjo.
What am I even doing?
I play banjo.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and then you see, I don't know, Steve Martin or something.
Right.
Somebody,
You're
and you're like, what the hell? That guy does comedy and banjo better than I could ever do. So you're like, why am
I've quit both. All right.
But I don't think, at least for me, I didn't start doing stand up because I was like, I want to be like the best or as good as those guys. I just thought I just want to do it.
You just want to do it.
Yeah. But you do realize, I mean, have you, even in a year and a half, you see like established comics.
Oh,
and you're
for
like,
sure.
oh, the gap isn't as crazy as I thought it was between me and them.
Yeah.
Like you
maybe there's, to me, there material wise and me being on stage is a huge gap.
But when you understand like how it works and you see like a good comic bomb with a joke and you see him work it out, you're like, oh, it's all the same. We're all doing the same stuff.
Right. Yeah.
They've just done this so many times that there's just a mastery of it, and they kind of disguise all of that, the technical stuff. Yeah.
What before you started, were you writing bits or anything?
I wrote, dude, the first couple years, I'd write it out like a speech.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, word for word. I put the uhs in. Dude, it was a nightmare. It was not good. Yeah, I'd be like, yeah. I'd write it out as if I'm reading it verbatim.
Yeah.
And you could tell.
Yeah.
And I think that's a mistake that some people, I mean, everybody's style is different, but that was definitely a mistake that I would make because I would essentially just be reading it from my head.
Right.
And then people feel like they were being read to.
Yeah, they're not.
And then, I think some guys, and I still do this, is like you get married to a particular wording of a joke.
Right.
And instead of like the idea of it. And if you know all the beats of it and the main points, it's okay to say it a little differently every time. Yeah. It's actually good for it to be more conversational, you know?
Yeah.
Like the punchlines are still the same, but you can just talk, get there.
Different setup, different premise.
Right.
But do you feel like there's a certain point where, like, this is the way the joke works, and I got to do it this way for the biggest pop? Or
sometimes. Yeah.
Depending on
You're like, that's like cracking it. Being like, well, that's what works.
Right.
So whatever the essential parts of that are, let's leave those.
And then you just play around with that.
Yeah, you can. Until like that show last night, you're like, I don't know, let's just talk through these jokes. I don't care about like there's no point of being like super precise about it.
Right.
I think it's just a mess. We're clowns. You know what I mean? I have to say that because I felt myself getting too serious about it. And I always feel silly.
I do too.
I'm literally like I'm a clown performing in front of a brick wall for a bunch of drunk idiots last night.
I always feel so goofy because I have like such a love for the art of comedy, and even when I say that, it feels so pretentious to be like, it's an art form.
That made me uncomfortable. No, but look, it's like anything. It's like you can respect the people working at it and getting better in the same way that you can respect like a guitarist or
and there's different levels of respect for it too, because there's like the audience who like, you know, likes comedy. They like to laugh and they like jokes. And then there's the respect of knowing what it took for him to craft all those jokes into a 1 hour set that flowed.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like there's different levels. Just like I listen to a dude play guitar, and I'm like, dang, that's really good. But I have no understanding of what it took for him to actually. Well, I guess I do kind of now.
As a banjo player?
Trying to learn banjo.
I mean, if it's that hard.
I'm not a banjo
strings,
player.
Imagine 6. That's so much harder, dude.
I do want to make it clear I'm not a banjo player. I'm learning banjo.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like a serious banjo player.
Oh, no. I want that to be established.
Okay.
I can't play a single song.
Okay. Noted.
I can play the intros to You Are My Sunshine and Rainbow Connection by Kermit Frog. So.
Those are two pretty good ones. Those are 2 classic banjo songs right there.
Yeah.
I thought you were in like an Avett Brothers cover band or something. That's what I thought. When you said banjo, a lot of it clicked for me. I go, oh, now I get it. This guy plays banjo on the side.
Oh, man. How long have you been playing guitar?
Since I was a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah. My mom was a professional musician out of high school for a while.
Oh, yeah.
My dad played guitar. We had a piano, so I played piano, drums, and guitar.
So you were like musically inclined just from your environment?
Yeah. Just grew up with everybody.
And are you musically inclined or?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I don't take it seriously.
You're right.
But I did for a while. I used to think that's what I wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
So if there's a piano around, I always play it. Like,
do you ever think about?
No. No. I know. I look. Maybe one day. I don't know. Maybe 5 years from now, you'll come back. You'll see me up here late show Friday with a one-man band up on. Who knows? I don't know. I have no interest in trying to do that.
Do you like musical comedy at all?
No. I like guys that do it, and I respect them.
Yeah.
It's just not.
You're just not your thing.
I don't do ventriloquism either.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But I could watch a good ventriloquism.
That almost felt like a bit of a jab to any musical comic
No,
to compare it to ventriloquism.
No, I'm just saying it's like a type of comedy that I just don't do.
A different genre.
You know, I don't do like I don't know, monologue jokes either.
Yeah.
And some people do. Ventriloquism used to be really common.
Oh yeah, dude.
It's crazy if you look at like some headshots to see like, because we only know of like one, right? It's like Jeff Dunham's kind of the guy.
Terry Fader is
Yeah.
on this wall, I think, maybe.
And it used to be like you go to an open mic and half of them would be magicians.
Right.
And then a third of them would be ventriloquists. And it'd be like one just guy talking. And you got to think, at the end of the day, like, what's the least impressive of that?
Yeah.
Just the guy talking?
Yeah, dude.
He's not bringing anything to the table.
Every time someone tells me they're new at a mic, and then they go up and I see them sit on the stool, the first thing I'm like, okay, this is going to be a fun 5 minutes.
That does annoy me a lot
dude.
when people do that.
When it's your first time, like, I get it that you're trying to, like, feel comfortable or whatever, but I feel like there's an aspect to the stool. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain thing
it's for act outs only, dude. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
No, I mean for sitting on it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a certain style that comes with that.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be real real cool with it. You know what I mean?
It's tough. It's pointless to do in 4 minutes.
Well, also, if
4 or
you're
5 minutes for a
and
set.
if you're sitting down, they're gonna be like, "Well, he's not even trying. Like,
Yeah.
he didn't even stand up for 5 minutes."
We went to the open mic the other night. There's some guys that sat down on the stool, and I don't think they know they're doing anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's annoying to me because you're like, I'm like, I mean, yeah, pretty casual for you, huh?
Right.
Like, you're just starting, and you're like, yeah, let me take a load off.
Yeah.
Get like pontificate about it. That's all annoying. But it's like those guys they don't know they're doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
We're all children of God.
Right. That's just your through line. We're all children of God. We're all doing it.
And ain't it the truth? What do you think, Zach?
What do you say about it, Zach?
You wearing that Dodgers hat? You see Ohtani's going to the Dodgers? Yeah. Just happened. Yeah. Biggest contract ever. 10 years, $700 million.
Dang.
Do you know who Ohtani is? Have you followed that at all? He's the best baseball player of all time.
Really?
Japanese guy.
Who'd he start with?
The Angels. He's been on the Angels. And he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and he's one of the best hitters in baseball.
Dang.
Nobody does both.
Right.
Nobody's ever done both like he's doing. So, $70 million a year to play baseball. That's pretty sick.
For 10 years.
I know. Yeah, $700 million.
What I always want to know is what happens, like, when they get injured, does that contract stay? Like, do they have an injury clause?
It's all stipulated in the
in
the contract. Yeah.
So,
now, a lot of it, that's where you hear sometimes, like a contract will be like 10 years, $500 million, $400 million guaranteed. That's no matter what.
Right.
You know, but there are provisions in there for if you get injured or if you have a 15-year-old girlfriend, stuff like that. There are clauses that will.
You think that was a specific clause? Like, if you start dating a 15-year-old,
it was like way too specific. If you have a 15-year-old girlfriend from the Dominican Republic, you're like, what? This is way too specific.
I didn't read that part, man.
Anyway.
Ah, dude. I wish I had the brain capacity to keep up with sports like I used to, but I don't. I'm such a casual observer now.
Could it have something to do with your job?
It possibly could. It possibly could, or the extra recreational things that job allows me to do.
Dude, fringe benefits.
We have paid 15-minute breaks where they smoke in the room that we work in. We have 3 breaks throughout the day. Yeah. 2 paid 15 minutes, and on those 15 minutes, you will get high just sitting in that room.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because they're just blowing down.
Contact high, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try to like cut weed out because I've been smoking way too much for years. So I'm in the.
Do you think
sounds
it's interfering
so dumb.
with comedy at all?
I don't feel like it's interfering with comedy. I do feel like it makes me not write as well. You know what I mean? But also at the same time, some of my best punch-ups have come because I wrote a joke when I was sober and punched it up afterwards.
Oh, that's the opposite of what was it? The Hunter S. Thompson. It was write drunk, edit sober.
Yeah, yeah.
You're doing the opposite. You write sober, edit drunk. That's wild. Hey, whatever it takes, man.
Well, just because like weed gives me a little bit more like of that free thinking creativity. So like more silliness.
Here's what you do, dude. You go on stage, you sit down, you smoke, you write on stage. That's what you should do, dude.
There you go.
Yeah. I like to write on stage, dude.
I hate that
I like
phrase,
to write on stage. I get what they mean, but I don't think anybody that says that is doing that.
And like also, I feel like if you're going to write on stage, there's still an aspect where you have to take what you did on stage, off stage, and write it out and, like, see, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Even if you don't physically write it out, it's like
I couldn't
commit to it.
Have you ever tried to go up on stage without any planned material, just a riff set, as they call
No,
them?
I can never do that. They have shows like that, theme shows.
Yeah.
And I've never done one. I don't think I'd be good at it. No, I've had guys that did. You'd go out there and you go, what do you guys want to talk about? I don't have enough confidence in my whole value is that I've thought about this stuff ahead of time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not like such a genius that it would be interesting to hear my thoughts about. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It
Like
took
that's
me
all
time.
I'm bringing to the table is that like I've planned this ahead of time.
I put the work in, okay? Yeah. I did I've done a couple like crowd work shows.
Nice.
Those are horrible.
Yeah.
Because usually it's a open mic crowd work show, and no one shows up. It's not like pre-sale tickets or anything.
Yeah.
So
Crowd work open mic.
at a bar where the crowd that I have to work off of is dudes sitting at a bar with their backs turned towards me. You know what I mean?
That's
So it's like,
good.
what am I working off of?
Yeah. What you do is you get a wireless mic and you walk up to those guys.
Just, what do you think?
You walk behind the bar, stand in front of them.
Stand up on the bar.
yeah,
Like,
what
this is my
up?
stage now, dude.
The world's a stage. That's what Shakespeare would say.
I've also done like, have you done any of the, what do they call them? Crowd topic shows?
No.
Where the crowds like yell out topic out and you riff off of that. There's one in Knoxville. It's actually fun. Justin Mays runs it. It's called Doubled Up.
Okay.
It's 2 comics on stage
At the same time?
at the same time, and you ask for a topic from the crowd, and then you riff on that and do that. And it's actually fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty fun. But, again, it's like, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what you're going to say. And if it's something that I don't want to joke about or that's going to, like, you know what I mean? I don't know, dude. I don't have the confidence either to just.
But I guess you only build the confidence by doing it. So you just got to do it.
Or it just wrecks your confidence, or you're just like, damn, I'm just
quit
not
comedy.
funny.
Yeah, pick up more hours at the weed store. Yeah, I'm done with comedy.
I'll just do my jokes for them.
Yeah, it's not a bad life.
They're stoned enough; they'll giggle.
I always am worried about coming across like too. I don't know, like too serious about.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this conversation is about. But
Right.
it's like sometimes I hear comics talk about the craft or whatever, and I'm like, ugh. But I mean, I don't know. We're all trying to have fun.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Literally,
We're
trying
all.
children of God.
There you go. that's what it's all about,
and
ladies and gentlemen. That's what comedy's all about.
That's what it's all about: realizing we're children of God and just coming together. And
that's actually a good example of what my comedy's all about, which is doing a callback one too many times. Over milking the cow, as they say.
Oh man, you got anything you want to plug? Anything you want to show?
I just announced a bunch of dates for 2024, so I'm going to be all over, mostly this side of the country.
You got a website?
AaronWeberComedy.com is my MySpace page. You can go check that out. It is a MySpace page.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I built it from scratch. It
That's
looks like
great,
the
dude.
2006, 2007 era MySpace page.
Oh, that's great.
It's a good little nostalgia.
Hold on.
trip.
Do you have a theme song that when you open it, it starts playing a song?
I took the music off because it was annoying for people, but my top 8's on there. I got everything. So if you miss the old MySpace, I hear that a lot. About, this on Facebook and all that controversy. I miss the old MySpace. Go to AaronWeberComedy.com and go take a little nostalgia trip for yourself.
At Real Aaron Weber on Instagram.
My real and then my name.
Real
on Instagram
Aaron
and
Weber.
everywhere else. Thank you so much, dude.
Thanks, dude. Thanks.
I
for
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man.